What is the truest indicator, the most telling, revealing indicator that something's wrong with the world as it is now? The truest indicator is our sadness and our despair and our misery.
My mom just gets mad at me over little bitty things. She won't let me talk to her because she won't believe me. She don't trust me or anything.
One brother, he's 7, and 3 other sisters, 2, 8, and 11. I mean, it was just hard. She died November 16th, 2004. It was actually a drug overdose. And it was unexpected.
To get your education, then it's really like a jungle, unless you're gonna stay focused.
Our world doesn't look like a place where God is ruling. It looks like a good argument that chaos and evil have taken over.
Not everything that feels good is good.
They're really tough on the outside, real soft on the inside. In the Tennessean, they listed the top 10 most dangerous schools in the state of Tennessee. We were on that list. Schools are reflections of the communities that they serve. For our children, school is the safest place for many of them.
I wanted to experience a non-magnet high school. And I also wanted to get a sense of what our kids experience in a school such as Stratford. It was kind of a leap of faith to step out of that comfort zone and to take on what I thought would be a tremendous challenge.
Our kids live in a very brutal environment. They see a lot of violence. They experience a lot of brute feeling.
Behind this door, they don't do homework, they do time.
The kids that I see are predominantly from a single-parent home. Their siblings have usually been in trouble, if they have them, and sometimes one of their parents has been incarcerated. As prosecutors, we are the people who are putting kids in jail and taking away their freedom. But we're also doing that in hopes that if a door shuts behind them, that'll get their attention.
They kindly took me away in the car, posted a $75 bail. But at that point, that was one of the times that I really understood what getting your freedom taken away was about. Put me in a holding cell, and it was for a short time. I mean, less than an hour.
Come with me.
That was one of the things that woke me up really fast and really quick, was that, the law is for real, and breaking the law and a serious crime is a serious offense, no matter how small or how big I think it is.
We have all been true believers.
I originally wanted to be a star. I kicked at the doors in the music business. I was angry and angry really at everybody, but ultimately at God for not opening the door.
I volunteered to help the youth ministry, and then it's like, oh, my husband plays guitar. I'll get him to help too. So I volunteered Jim, and he wasn't excited about it.
I finally concluded he held it shut because he wanted it shut.
But he just had an incredible ability in taking a conversation and making it into a song that would say everything you could say if you only knew how to say it. And for teenagers, it was huge.
It's legitimate to grieve. I got such a taste for the impact and the involvement that person-to-person relational ministry has, that the music business itself had less power over me.
What can we do to make sure that we never see this scene played out again in our homes and in our streets and in our personal lives?
that's how they see the hero being portrayed as the person that has the gun, that has the power.
In the magnet program, you have a tremendous parental support system. I think that's the greatest difference. Our kids here at Stratford really feel disenfranchised, and that's unfortunate because they have so much to offer.
Kids need to feel loved. They need to feel that someone really cares about them other than an agenda. You know, if the teachers get across to the children that they're there for the betterment of the kids, you know, nothing else. I want to see you do good, don't want to see you die, I want to see you be somebody.
We don't invest in our children, and I think it's because we really don't expect them to be successful. And that's a sad indictment on our society.
Their story doesn't have to have a tragic ending. It can have a tragic beginning, but it doesn't have to have a tragic ending.
This school is a different place than it was 2.5 years ago whenever we entered the building, and they came soon after I came.
So we went to the principal of Stratford High School, Brenda Elliott, and said, what do we need to do? She said, but what I really need is character education. We were being invited not only to be on campus, but to essentially join the faculty, to do with the students what we had been trained to do for 20 years.
It's like you cannot remain at the same level of thinking you were at when you got into that mess if you're trying to get out of that mess.
A boy does what feels good. What's a man do?
What do you do?
That's right. When we realized what an opportunity it was, we just thought, this is one of those open doors. So we walked through it.
Relationships can change you, make you a better person, or if you're not in the right relationship, it can make you a worse person.
And it's our responsibility to make this a good place.
And Miss Melanie, she's a nice person. I thank God for letting me meet her.
I think that the research is really very powerful about the significance of relationships, and it doesn't take a ton of people to make a difference in a young person's life.
I had two other friends, Brian and Chris. They told me about it. I was like, yeah, I mean, that sounds like something I need. It's been great. Jim is an awesome guy. I mean, he's just so smart, and he's just awesome.
They really care, and they know what a lot of teachers should know about the children. And I think that kind of partnership really is essential. The kids begin to feel that they have a mother or father image. And it doesn't matter the color. It makes no difference.
I've had enough. Yeah.
They all love them.
That was one word. What was the other word? Do. Said you're going to be what you see. And I think, from what I've seen of this man right here, you need this man in your line of vision so that you can see a successful man and hear his story. The man that custom makes all of Eddie George's clothes.
You've got to prepare yourself, man. You got to equip yourself with all the tools that you can get your hands on.
I don't know how to describe what she does. Bringing resources in the building for kids to see things differently. She can work it.
My dad was in jail. My parents were not married. They were divorced by this time. My dad was an alcoholic and very abusive man, very violent. It's like, you know, when I was your age, my dad was in jail. They're like, oh, me too. You know, they're looking at me today and the woman I am today, and it's like, all of a sudden they see some difference, they see some hope. It's like, well, wait a minute. Maybe there is another option for me. There's another door I can find.
Is it too much to ask for a love that will last and a family that won't fall apart? 'Cause if it's asking too much, where's the reason for love? If the world is just a broken heart.
I think people got in CiViL groups, I think it probably changed their whole life. Words can't express, you know, how I really feel about it. CiViL groups, like how I really appreciate it. And because I mean, I appreciate it a lot. I really do.
It makes me think about, like, my life is not as bad as I think it is. That just makes me want to do better, do more, say more.
They're teaching some really lifelong lessons to kids, and they're giving them some skills that they're going to be able to use way past high school.
The biggest blessing that I think CiViL Group will give me is just growing into a woman, being the woman that I always dreamed of being.
They're longing for acceptance, first of all, someone to appreciate who they are.
Because kids have said, this isn't a program, it's a group, Miss Melanie, where you're teaching us how to love each other.
Part of what we want to do is address the brokenness in the community. So, and you know, of course, we're doing it through the students themselves.
They come from a culture where it looks like all their opportunities are so limited, but the irony is there are a lot of doors, and a lot of them lead the wrong way. What we want to do is help them decide where they want to go to begin with and where they want to end up, and look at what path is going to get them there.
They don't have to find the door themselves. They don't have to go through it by themselves. Somebody can walk through it with them.
I, the undersigned, support the Stratford cluster resolution to promote the ideas of peace, to follow our model of nonviolence.
The vision for CiViL Group's future includes expanding the current Stratford program to 30 or more groups and 180 students with as many as a dozen adult group leaders, developing a CiViL Group's parent initiative to provide resources for Stratford families that facilitates successful parenting and strengthens marriages, and the opening of doors beyond Stratford High School to other at-risk students in schools throughout our state, the region, and the nation. CiViL Groups believes that these doors and many others can and will open for those who can't open doors by themselves, and you can help make that happen.
Anyone who feels loved feels hope.
They go to the younger kids with this program. I mean, this is going to make somebody's world.
CiViL Groups save lives. Once they get a feeling of Miss Melody and what she got to tell them, they want to change.
If we want God to be with us, then we must be here, not just for ourselves, but for others.
He needs a faithful friend and something to hold on to. He doesn't have a prayer, but I do. He doesn't have